Hopefully we're almost there. I've got it going on everything else but BandLab at the moment. Okay, we're on the lab. I'm going to turn the camera off, introduce yourself, set up your share, and you're good to go.
Evening, everyone. I am AeromosDax here on with courtesy of the Angified Network. We're going to share and discuss the new EP, The Bookish Spine I Lean On, a self-released project of holdovers until I finish the Claymation record. Well, the record I'm working on called Claymation. Now, just because this is a throwaway record does not mean this record does not have any thought put into it. This is a collection of tracks that wrestles with certain relationships or the lack thereof, mostly the fallout of certain relationships in and around my life. To begin, we have the Stranger produced Montana, and how it's going to work is I'm going to play the track first. We're going to digest it together, and then I'll speak on it. And maybe, just maybe, we might get something out of this.
I feel it down in my bones. How did I let it get so cold? I feel it down in my bones. How did I let it get so cold? Yes, I had a pull a day food break, feeling weaker every second. Spent the break in my vacation house in the good old days when I could thrive in the bleakest environments. The time is setting in. I feel it down in my bones. How did I let it get so cold? How did I let it get so cold? I feel it down in my bones, to my bones. It's a shame you were around at my lowest. With a desperate grasp for the rope couldn't pull us closer. Legend has it, I don't rap it, ramble passive aggressively. On the ground floor is no latchkey goddesses. That's a secret in them, her roster is guarded. All I can say is do you, what's to argue? Either authentic or posturing. It's a gamut hole in the wall if you consult the economics. And across stitch of space-time, that just unravels to the needle and thread. Honestly, it's rubbish rubbed off the pencil lead. I feel it down in my bones. How did I let it get so cold? I feel it down in my bones. How did I let it get so cold? I feel it down in my bones. Outside, I can't feel my face. I can't fake the smile I did yesterday. Outside, I can't feel my face. I can't fake the smile I did yesterday. Outside, outside, outside. Pull my hair for the kindling. Start conflict for the friction. Send a prayer for the Holy Spirit to resume password while paper thin. Step out for a wind check. It was like a razor through flesh, and I'm now left to question, how did I let it get so cold?
My apologies. I am a Neanderthal when it comes to technology. Now, like I said, for those of you who may or may not be familiar with my work, you might be a bit thrown off by that. After all, that is not typically what I do. More of a spoken word or beat poet or rapper. However, when I was sent this song from a stranger over here, we didn't quite have uh, any. It didn't quite have the groove or the tempo to put down a good sounding rap verse over with the percussion. Now, granted, the original version of the beat was a bit faster, and I had it right around the original version of the beat. But for everything to fit properly and to sound better, I manually slowed it down myself. This is the closest we'll get to a bit more of an adult contemporary record. Um, to further expand on, this opens up our record's theming of the fall of relationships. It's very, very direct in that matter. Probably the most direct I've ever been on record when it comes to these things, outside of stuff like some examples off of. Let me check notes. Rivaling stuff such as Vinaigrette off of Looking Over My Shoulder, my record from last year. Now, it might be a bit of an oddball choice to lead off the record with the curveball, but the idea was we'll start off with the curveball first, get the initial shock out of the way, and then we can go into more of my bread and butter. In this case, the single from the record, The Bridge Between Us is on Fire, which was produced by Semantics on Agar. Now,
Just leave me where you found me. Just leave me where you found me. Leave me where you found me. You welcome for the hood and cloak. Today the brain fog is more of a smoke screen. Any shade is cast from the walls that surround me. Someday I'll find the electricity of the live wire and prove this is where the power lies. My aura alone will paralyze. Something snapped after the shiver up my spine. But in the meantime, I aim for the tin man's chest. That's not how you cleanse him of his cobwebs. Instead, slip a silver bullet to the forehead. Shed a wool from my eyes and stare into the veins, carved into my eroded face. I even took it to the brain. To keep track of the days, I wish I could say what I forgot to make the space. Tell me the steps I've taken, have me circling the drain. And I've been practicing pacing myself over, taking advantage of the moment. Just tell me I'm not wanted you, strung me along, but I'd rather have honesty. The rope burns from a leash. If it's ever added up to what percentage of me is abated to dust, would your expectations be anything but animosity between us? Just leave me where you found me. Just leave me where you found me. Leave me where you found me.
alrighty. Yeah, uh, this particular number was inspired by a specific relationship with people. I don't like it when my relationship with people grow stagnant. When it is just the same back and forth of, oh yeah, I bring this thing and you comment this thing, which adds nothing to the conversation whatsoever. It's just kind of a polite placeholder. And then you'll bring in your thing, which is the only thing you seem to be doing these days. And I comment politely as we keep this thing going in hopes that someday one of us will grow the backbone to either drop everything entirely or to maybe try to have things grow into what they once were or or towards a brighter future. Um, there is an animated video for the bridge between us all fire on the YouTube channel of the official AeromosDax YouTube channel. I suggest you check it out. It was really good. It has a it's a 2D animated video. Uh, it captures a bit of a I don't want a bit of a childlike charm to it that the instrumental by Agar suggests. Agar, as I said before, is the one of the many producers from the Semantics camp. If you, which includes Julius, uh, Tierce, Poltergeist, Oracle, and others, including myself. Maybe just maybe we can get that going again. That has been on a bit of a hiatus since our fearless leader has decided he wants to do other things than rap, and none of us has taken the reins to push forward with anything. Which I guess makes it ironic that I had one of our producers produce the well. Actually, I didn't even ask him to produce a beat. he gave us the allowance to use any beat that he produced for free, which and plus he cleared it afterwards. So next up we have Paradox, produced by AT Alien Infamous, which we'll be playing right now.
If I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture. I was talked down from a stone, so I pelted you with flowers. Fabricated anguish, a bouquet bound by a toddler's anklet. I let you under my skin. Note the interest is scabbed and affected. All I ask is you, get out of my head. Second-rate prodigal kid whose loose description of living is following where they mocked up their footprints. Hunger strikes in the silent treatment. Obviously, my cold shoulder's nothing but a prop. Repaired every tear with rubbing alcohol and scotch tape. Still ain't the type to flinch at the strap at your waist. Just remember, you rise to your training, not the occasion. So brazen, take a man of 20 paces. Only to fire blanks, all that smoke. Spoil the stakes, over a decade in the game, still begging for patrons, spare change. Turns out just the mention, not setting the stage, takes the cake of over anti-Semitism. Talk about stuff you can't believe. Give a heads up to who's engineering the Vox. Shuffling through his psalms, almost mistook the ministers as the voice of God. Should I ring the alarm, or is he that good at his job? Yo, give a heads up to who's engineering the Vox. Shuffling through his psalms, almost mistook the ministers as the voice of God. Should I ring the alarm, or is he that good at his job? Give a heads up to his engineering the Vox. Shuffling through his psalms, almost mistook the ministers as the voice of God. Should I ring the alarm, or is he that good at his job? Hey yo, this is nothing to do with nothing, but I'm the type to buck no jumper cables at a function. Honestly, I don't think it scares promiscuous women, but men who need a piggyback off another's charisma. That's just my opinion, but maybe you could fall ill over polyrhythms. I'm from where politicians scoff at monkeys' paw propositions, sitting at the kitchen table over black-eyed peas, warning starlets about tempted fate, daring to redefine what the end is, the terms and agreements we engage with. At the end of the day, we're all lemons, wearing your red herrings on a forked road. It's not traveling the other path that's disparaged. Yo.
Yeah. So the first verse of this was inspired by some very specific comments about a person I have no actual relationship with. The relationship I have with this person was more very producer consumer. He was a rap YouTuber who got me into a lot of introduced me to a lot of underground artists and showed me that there was more than just the mid '90s hip hop that I have grown accustomed to when I was first coming into listening to music, and then just to see him grow and in a way that sort of I don't want to say betrayed because then that undercuts his own personal growth. But like our views of what made good hip hop music grown apart, and then it's one thing to have opinion that differs, but just it was the pettiness of it of that moment. You talk about the worst lyrics that came out that year, and one of those was from Billy Wood's song. Oh crap! Just why I need a guest host to bounce these things off of. Because one thing we have learned tonight that I have no business doing this solo ever again. Oh God, no business. There's a reason I don't stream myself. I like to have my things written down and organized. And I reckon that told me by not doing a better job of organizing. I could have planned this out further in the future, but yeah. Anyway, it was it was a line about from the song soundtrack, like I won't be at sound check. And it goes into the narrative about Billy Woods' own paranoia about going into to do sound check and how people would smash the bottles over his head before he can get there or after the show before he can get the money. It's a great song. I'm not doing it the best of services talking about it right now. I recommend the entire album Maps. I mean, in fact, you probably should listen. I might do that to Now, whereas the second verse, it was more of a rambling about how people in more social environments don't particularly care for more well, abstract or dare I say, more interesting forms of hip hop music, and rather just have a very sterile party music and the few token conscious artists that they're the mainstream is allowed to procreate amongst the flavor of the month. Saying it was more for the ego of other people that don't really have much of much personality themselves. But I mean, it's not exactly covered in metaphor. I hope y'all got it. Anyway. Next up, we have "Showing My Age," produced by the magnificent Doc Laundry out in Portland. If you follow my work, you know I've been working with Doc Laundry since 2020, since Dark Void Television. Can I recommend his production enough? He's been doing some pretty crazy stuff with the sampler.
I'm either a master of disguise, a matter of disgust. You think there'd be interest between a ditto and Shang Tsung? Regardless, I appreciate the 2 cents. I'll blow it on the Canucks and consider parlaying it on if Aramis could be any fun. If Aramis could be any fun. Come cut through the kayfabe with a keyblade, regardless if the shoe fits. Pin rate the safe for the keepsake. I'll run off with the winnings to the sweepstakes. I'll gift the weary 20 paces and you can break any incendiary addictions. Know your fire OG and see if I'm really rapping about spaceships. He was hustling too much paper to pay attention and English lit to summarize the environment I'm from when everyone was a Gotti, Montana, a Hoffa. Hopping on my Steve before you could get to the chopper off. Trying to save salamanders and newts from glue traps with polished remover. Watching them walk into the sunset like what a maneuver. Only to be a feather added to the plumage, a bullet point on my resume. Search and rescue experience, but God forbid I save myself and uncover the male loneliness antivenom. You can catch this lowly badger in some cavern suited up in camo, hunting the mother of all arachnids to see if she'll scout me like Apache. Can't find time for rappers. Writing is just a way to communicate with the spirits after I give my respects to Metal Face. You can find me riffing with Hendrix, if not. I'm hearing the whispers of how that's not all your drilling, or how I'm prone to collapses like Jenga cells after the attacks of September 11. As if I couldn't adapt and parasol over the wreckage of parry whatever you perceive as leverage. I'll forever rap like my aching knees can tell the weather. You can find the silver fox digging in some salt and pepper squid. Store branch pepper rich farm in a Pepsi Cola beverage. I'm either a master of disguise or a matter of disgust. You think there'd be inches between a ditto and Shang Tsung. Regardless, I appreciate the 2 cents. I'll blow it on the Canucks and consider playing it on if Aramis could be any fun.
So I wrote that song around my birthday last year, and which is part of the title. And I'll be the first one to tell you that I think it's a bit cringe-inducing. Marginally, it's really on purpose. Like it is some bare bones and how much of introspection is the right word? I mean, I reckon it is. It goes over bits and pieces of, well, not necessarily my background because it's not that specific now, is it? It's not a very specific song. It skates over a lot of ideas, trying to figure out why don't people want why people wouldn't want to spend time with Mr. Aramis. And I think we're learning that together as we go along. Even though I will say I'm a better conversation in person. But letting me ramble on for the next for an hour is a bad idea. If there's one thing we can take away from this that is not music related, it is I am a man out at sea at the moment, and I need a life raft. Ugh. Either way, here's end notes. We're gonna talk about end notes before I get into it because I want to preface in end notes because end notes, especially the first verse, is a very emotionally charged writing where it forgoes the technicalities of a rap verse somewhat. It is more raw emotion with the thing that the people or in this case, a very specific person has outright betrayed you. Even though on some level you do know better. It's just you still can't shake the feeling and this is wallowing in it. Whereas the second verse is trying to alleviate that, maybe not by addressing it directly, but just taking some steps back and focusing on something else in particular. And it's also produced by yours truly.
I was really processing maiming you. Taking this razor till your face is blank. Till every name that rolls off your mother's lips and attempts to fill the space to identificate with is misplaced. I thought about investing my tomorrows and the next days with you. And other people too. It's just up until recently it seemed a tree bearing fruit was tangible. I smile knowing I'm gracious, my mercy's bountiful. Enough to handicap my wrath towards you, and I could be talking to only grafting you and tossing you to the trash pile. I could be held further back and hold your feet to the fire and ash you into the ether while I harvest your tears for watercolor paintings of what could have been our golden years. This all stemmed from the want to kill you. I just wanted to hold you down like cement shoes. I miss this fantasy event. I see Polaroids of what could have been, dancing the ambience like snow flurries. My vision goes blurry as I raise my weapon and I swing to where the colors smeared my perception. Telltale hearts, destiny is stitches from cardiac complications, especially if a skeleton keeps negated to open the chest. It was RPG till the pendulum was lowered into the pit. The volume of which is no bigger than a wishing well you sit with it, set to be divvied from where you morally sit in the spectrum between good and evil. Weeding out the badly drawn heroes, like any form of judgment, you're tethered to your position through the tension of past, present, and future events. Time is money. What did you commission? You supposed to have been standing on business, but how you slumped over, so that is confession. So 180 from the direction you step in. We're not impressed by the water bodies you treaded. Pick up your rod, either broomstick or AR, depending how you were brought up, or the plateau you were 10 toes down on. Sound off. Hear no, see no, speak no. $1 bills, no excuse for a blindfold. Regardless, 20s, 50s, or C notes. Disconnect from Babylon, Sodom, Gomorrah. Patterns of three like biblical projection. Or how the villain told you. These loose lips that spit the slug that sunk the ship. Populated by the past minor antagonists and background extras. Yo.
I originally produced that track for a different song. Even though it didn't have all the it didn't have some of the extra instrumentation. It was mostly just the original sax loop and drum loop. I produced it because I was going for my 5th year anniversary. I was going to release a recording of the first rhyme I've ever written back when I was Mr. like 187. Um, but it didn't feel right because I feel like for the majority of people, the context of that would have been lost. Even though it would have been a cool novelty to see where I came from, it would have been someone's first impression. And I don't think it would have been a very good first impression from its basic rhymes and flows to its artificially enhanced, well, not enhanced voice. It's the add-ons to the voice to try to make me sound younger to fit how I sound. Well, not even how I sound as a teenager, just to communicate that the rhyme was written by a younger person. But anyway, I took it, I slowed it down, I chopped it up a little bit, added some shifting tempos, some extra instrumentation, and there we have it. And then finally, we have our grand finale. My enemy is Ananias, introduced by Squat. Close enough. Uh, we don't really have a working relationship. This was a forked track, one of the few instances of me doing that. I don't like making music I can't export to other places. It's very limiting as far as audience goes. And for someone as small as myself, you need to reach out as many tendrils as you can get. So there we go.
Treat my enemy as Ananias. Keep no abacus, but hold them liable for what they count as the devil, both in flesh and disguise. Craft psalms in the effort the skill shed from their eyes. I'm pensive at the pinpoint, not at the picket, poison them in living water. Have you yet noticed the sheep with no blemish is sitting with the Father? Samsung face mask, Apple in my eyeglasses. Antagonist is gigabytes of useless data. Pollute the sea with vats of gastric acid. Upload that hot take, test my gag reflex. Maybe nostalgia's a bad thing, the rose decays. Perhaps it really hold guns like Cobain. Flexible, every muscle strained. Everyone thinks it's all custard. It's a shame to talk about hobbies and side hustles. When it began from the heart, came from love in the game. Covered what it brings, how an angel gets his wings. Well, that's how we think till we come of age to rate capital. The most common reaction to the matter of fact is you never catch us tap dancing to the algorithm. But Ryan staff standing at the cavern of the schism. Join me at the division to plant grapes where the vines grow into secrets and escapes. Treat my enemy as Ananias. Keep no abacus but hold him liable. Keep no abacus but hold him liable. Keep no abacus but hold him liable. Once it was blood lagoons, we dipped from the beach house for sabbatical. Curse that sixth sense, homie seeing dead people still. Relief is more than a good night's sleep, it's impactful. Those without overrate the grasp on the supernatural. And then if the die is cast, will they ever raise from the gravel? That depends on how God swings the gavel. All that was fought for, and your plaid past was superficial. Either legal or fish scale. The world's as small as rotating around what's fiscal. The one for presidents to represent was a red herring, plain and simple. If you only make the rounds, ignorance is blissful. But who's to say you're too rich for penny slots with a pocket full of nickels? Clear the Vegas odds and ends. Vacancy is filled. Whittle down to sunrise, sunset, gamut mill. Guts and ambition for another man's benefit. Every time gets away from the respect of the citizen. Don't pay him mind and watch him reduce to simian. Treat my enemy as Ananias. Keep no abacus but hold them liable for what they account as the devil, both in flesh and disguise. Craft psalms and the effort the scale shed from the eyes. I'm pensive at the pinpoint, now at the picket, poisoning the living water. Heavy yet knows the sheep with no blemish is sitting with the Father. Treat my enemy as Ananias. Keep no abacus but hold them liable. Keep no abacus but hold them liable. Keep no abacus but hold them liable.
This was the hardest song to mix out of all of them. And some of y'all that might come off as a joke, like you actually took time to mix this. I did. I didn't take enough time to mix this. I'll be the first one to tell you. I bought a new speaker to mix it because I was working. My main project is the record Claymation. That's supposed to come out later this year, and we'll get more into it in a second. But this was the hardest one because the synths ended up swelling in the back half, and no matter what I did, it would just overpower the vocals, both through the earbuds and on the speaker. So it took me a while to get that straightened out. Um, its place in the record, "My Enemy is Ananias," because even though this is a holdover, I will say that it is a holdover for Playmation. That's the big one. I still wanted this to have something worthwhile. You need to have a through line, and what this is this is the it is supposed to be turn towards growth, a turn to be above it, to be above the rest of it. Now, That is the bookish spine I lean on. Uh, I did the cover art for it. It's not the best cover art I've done. I do all my cover art up to a certain point. There are one or two instances where I did dabble in AI before I figured out how AI worked, and now I'm vehemently against the use of AI when it comes to artistic endeavors. Um, for this, took a piece of wood and I took like the leather spine of an old encyclopedia. I need the wood grain for extra texture because the leather didn't come through well enough on the photo editor. And then I got a basic outline and I splattered some text on there, and you have what you see for an album art, which I think is fine for something that's streaming. It's better than a lot of what I've seen. People just reuse assets. Um, I take a couple of minutes to talk about claymation. So uh, claymation is the big one. I just need to record the music videos I have planned for it. I have about four in mind, but as a one-man operation, it is difficult to find a cameraman, and you can't split yourself in two. I mean, for one, it would just be too grotesque of a visual to have half a man walking around. I mean, it'd be cool at first, but then you have to look at it for more than 30 seconds, and the cool factor wears off and is replaced by disgust really quickly. So that's obviously not an option. So as I work around that, I have the singles choices and everything. In fact, I can show y'all. I can show y'all. Until they take me off the air, I can show y'all. There we go. Behold, plans for the future. Um, As of right now, this is the track list for Claymation. This is what I've been working on for the past year and change. And this is what we got. I have the singles planned, I have video ideas. I know what my B-sides will be. I have singles planned up until that point. So Claymation is the big one. What it is it is a it's more than it's basically a complaint about modern life under capitalism. And I could feel a lot of y'all rolling y'all's eyes. I mean, I did too when I realized what I was writing about. So you're not alone. I'm tired of it as well. But it's out of that tiredness I wrote about working my 9 to 5 job to an endless just nothing. And between that and the Fox News that we somehow, for some reason, we keep on the television. Well, we kept it. We eventually learned how to change the channel on the television eventually. Thank God. It was just endless loops of all of that. And it made me ever more bitter the more I worked at my little furniture place. And I just wrote endlessly. Thankfully, most of it was creatively fulfilled. Some of it was spiteful. That's the stuff that's not on the track list that I haven't trimmed down to. And what it is, it's not just the criticism of working in late stage capitalism. It tackles a very brutal depiction of literal escape from that and what that would look like. And then we go into how it all ends, and I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to let you marinate on how this could end. Maybe it ends badly. I mean, after all, do I seem like the person that's going to give you a happy ending? You can take it any way you want to. I know what I said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you a song from the record. Ignore all of this, please. I will play you a song from the record, and I'm going to run as far away as I can from the stream and rethink some of my life decisions. Does that sound good with y'all? I hope it sounds good because that's what's happening, like it or not. All right.
Get it how you want it. The only fair one I owe you is a warning. Thinking I plot and perform it. Stone pillar whose fire as good as the doorman. I go scorched earth. This is no song for old men. No fool can form his old men.
Aeromos slow down a little bit.
Never heard of shifted gears. Hit rewind. Let the fire burn as incense. Red flame. Demons question if it's already Christmas or benevolence. I tread it with the mask for the directions of the weather vane. Predators come every which way. Same for houses where there's bread to break. I try my best to prepare for the spread. Knuckle sandwich, back fist, everyone gets fed. Beginner's course, cracked open the doors. Broke the locks via brute force. If it rains men with fortress of forest fortified for the storm. Specks and splinters, blurred vision. I give up the same prescription. Regardless if he's saying a sinner. The gym bro couldn't lift the picket or petitions. He's right, it's a matter of grip strength. Get it how you want it. The only fair one I owe you is a warning. Thinking I plot and perform it. Stone pillar whose fire as good as the doorman. I go scorched earth. This is no song for old men. No fool can form his old men. No fool can form his old men. Bilingual in English and body posture. Read a print or wherever your mind crosses. Bloodshot 9 to 5 and your coppers too corroded to blind us. A blizzard of their skin cells, the finest dust. It wasn't worth the rise and grind, especially since I couldn't keep my spices. How you so baked you get a cake in slices, but debate over pork in the pine bluff. Pluck off arteries and lighthearted. Only Kool-Aid and simple syrup in circulation. Yeah, the tree bears, but the fruit's low hanging. Destined for a shallow grave next to the hydrangeas. Plucked by buzzards, the new favorite pinup. The mantra insists you hate the game. Once you stick the cartridge in the plaything, you want to see what the next day brings.
Slow down a little bit.
Get it how you want it. The only fair one I owe you is a warning. Thinking I plot and perform it. Stone pillar whose fire as good as the doorman. I go scorched earth. This is no song for old men. No fool can form his old men. No fool can form his old men.